4,600 years ago, humans built the impossible, and it still defies time.
The sky blazes red like burning coal as desert winds scatter golden sands into the air. Beneath the scorching sun of Giza, thousands of people pull together, ropes stretched tight and trembling, each footstep heavy on the searing sand. At the summit, a golden stone is being lifted slowly, shimmering in the sunlight, and then it touches the peak. A roar erupts, echoing across the desert like the thunder of gods. 4,600 years ago, humanity achieved what the world once thought impossible. They built a wonder that defied the march of time itself. But how could people, without machines, without steel, without engines, raise a monument weighing millions of tons? Could they have possessed a secret buried for millennia, around 2560 BC? Under the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, on the barren plains of Giza by the Nile River, tens of thousands came together to write an immortal chapter of human history, the Great Pyramid. For centuries, scholars, archaeologists, and modern engineers have never stopped asking, who truly built it and how? The answer might forever change the way we understand human intelligence itself. So, let us turn back the sands of time to an age when human could bend the desert and lift stones toward the sky. Before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss the next extraordinary journey through the wonders of our civilization. People have long believed that the pyramids were built by miserable slaves, beaten and forced to toil under the Pharaoh's whip. But that, as it turns out, is one of history's greatest misconceptions. The truth, revealed through thousands of bones and artifacts unearthed around Giza, tells a very different story. The builders of this wonder were not slaves, but free citizens. Men and women who believed they were working for the immortality of their nation. At the heart of that dream stood Pharaoh Khufu, a ruler both ruthless and magnificent. He didn't just seek a tomb for himself. He sought to create a monument so powerful that the world would forever look up to it in awe. Historians like Herodotus once portrayed Khufu as a tyrant, but new evidence from the Egyptian Archaeological Institute reveals a more complex figure. A visionary leader who united tens of thousands of skilled workers, architects, and seasonal farmers under one shared belief: to build for the pharaoh is to build for the god, Ra himself. Among them were countless souls whose names history never remembered, yet they were the true spirit of this monument. A humble stone carver, armed with nothing but a copper hammer and a worn rope, could shape each limestone block with millimeter precision. An anonymous architect dared to align the entire structure so perfectly with the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, that its deviation was a mere 0.06 degrees. A feat that still leaves modern engineers in awe. They did not merely work, they lived, they believed, and they dedicated their lives to a dream that would outlast death itself. To them, every stone laid was not just a step in a tomb, but a sacred vow whispered to the gods. The people of Egypt can't touch eternity. But what could make tens of thousands of people believe so completely in one dream, willing to trade their youth, their strength, even their lives, for a monument of stone? That secret begins to unfold in the mystery of how they moved the colossal blocks, each weighing tens of tons. How could people who lived more than 4,000 years ago move millions of stone blocks, each weighing tens of tons, when they had no excavators, no cranes, not even steel wheels? That question has haunted scientists and archaeologists for centuries. And then, in the middle of the Egyptian desert, a small discovery changed everything. In 2014, at the Al-Qaw Quarry, a team of French archaeologists uncovered traces of a sloped ramp system. Combined with parallel grooves, deep tracks were etched into the sand, flanked by wooden post holes, places where ancient builders once threaded ropes to create leverage for pulling stones uphill. It wasn't just evidence. It was a living testimony that they had used pure human ingenuity to replace technology. Physicists later tested the method. When you pour water on sand, friction decreases by nearly 50%. An ancient relief found in the Saqqara necropolis even depicts worker pouring water in front of a stone sled. With this simple yet brilliant trick, hundreds of men could drag a 10-ton block as if it were gliding over ice. A modest idea, yet utterly genius. At the same time, they employed wooden levers and linen fiber pulleys, working together in perfect rhythm. Imagine it, thousands of people, each knowing their exact place, pulling, pushing, lifting, aligning in a silent symphony of labor. Sweat mixed with sand, blood seeped into stone, and layer by layer, the pyramid rose, reaching for the heavens. The renowned Egyptian archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass once said, "There was no magic. The Great Pyramid was built by people whose faith was stronger than steel." That single sentence silences countless wild theories, aliens, lost technologies, or divine energy. Because the truth is both simple and magnificent. The human will itself became the eternal machine. Yet the story doesn't end there. When the final stones were set in place, the builders still held one last secret. A secret that not only made the pyramid stand firm for millennia, but also caused the rising sun, each dawn, to strike its summit, blazing like the torch of the god Ra. Amid the endless golden sands of Giza, there once stood a small, forgotten village. The village of those who built a wonder of the world. Life there was not the chain of suffering and hunger we often imagine. In fact, archaeological evidence reveals a very different truth. These people were cared for, well-fed, and honored as if they were fulfilling a sacred mission. Mud brick houses lined the desert ridge, their hearths glowing red, the warm scent of baked bread drifting in the wind each day. Dozens of cattle and sheep were slaughtered to feed the army of builders. They had beer, bread, and roasted meat, luxuries that ordinary Egyptians could only dream of. Archaeologists have even uncovered an ancient brewery, where giant clay jars still bear traces of golden foam. Whispering through time, we did not merely work. We lived, and we believed in what we were building. In that camp, stories were told through firelight. The gentle melody of a harp mingled with the deep rhythm of drums and the coarse, heartfelt voices of workers drunk on beer. They spoke of their families, their pharaoh, and the stars, the very stars they believed would guide their souls to the heavens. And above the desert night of Giza, millions of stars shimmered upon the growing pyramid, reflecting the immortal dream of an entire civilization. Meanwhile, in the distant palace, Pharaoh Khufu watched in silence. He believed that this monument would link his soul to the sun god Ra. Priests prayed amid curling incense, engraving sacred words into stone. Words that spoke of the house of eternity. Each night, architects used primitive tools to align the pyramid with the northern stars, for even a single degree of error could shatter the dream of immortality. They built not only with stone, but with faith, love, and pride in the harsh heart of the desert. They still sang, still smiled, and still believed that their creation would make the universe itself remember the name of Egypt. But behind the warmth of firelight and the echo of song, something extraordinary was about to happen. The moment when the entire desert would ignite in the golden, divine glow of the Giza summit. That morning, the sun rose more brilliantly than ever before. The entire desert of Giza seemed to hold its breath. At the very summit of the Great Pyramid, the final golden stone, the capstone, was being prepared to ascend. Thousands of people gathered below, their eyes fixed upon the heavens, where the light of the god Ra was spilling across the sky. Drums thundered, chants echoed, and hundreds of ropes stretched tight as strings of a harp. Everyone knew a single mistake, even the smallest misstep, could bring the entire monument crashing down. The golden stone rose slowly, inch by inch, heartbeat by heartbeat. Sweat streamed down the faces of the workers, their calloused hands trembled under the strain. And then, the moment it touched the apex, sunlight exploded across the desert. For an instant, all of Giza blazed like a colossal golden torch. The people fell to their knees, crying out the name of Pharaoh Khufu. They believed that the god Ra had witnessed their triumph, that humankind had truly touched eternity. From his stone balcony, Pharaoh Khufu closed his eyes. He knew that this monument was more than a tomb. It was the declaration of an entire civilization. Egypt shall endure, as eternal as the sun. The cheers, the drums, the bronze horns, all blended into a single symphony of victory. As the light slowly receded beyond the horizon, the Great Pyramid of Giza stood tall and timeless, a symbol of human strength, faith, and genius. Yet that glory was never meant to belong only to the past. For more than 4,600 years later, that golden torch still burns, still challenging every limit of what humanity dares to believe is possible. 4,600 years have passed, empires have risen and fallen, civilizations have been born and forgotten. Yet the Great Pyramid of Giza still stands, silent and unyielding. Amid the endless desert, storms have swept across it, earthquakes have shaken the earth beneath it, and even time itself seems to bow before it. Modern scientists have measured its precision, over 2.3 million stone blocks, weighing a total of 6.5 million tons, with each corner deviating by no more than 0.06 degrees. A level of accuracy so astonishing that even today, as laser technology struggles to match it. Researchers from NASA and the University of Leeds, using 3D scanning and satellite imaging, discovered that its internal structure was designed in perfect proportion, distributing weight evenly to all four sides. Some blocks weigh more than 70 tons, yet they fit together so tightly that not even a single sheet of paper can slip between them. Many call it a miracle of ancient engineering, but some scholars believe it to be more than that, a miracle of faith, one no modern civilization has ever truly recreated. Seen from above, the Great Pyramid is not merely a mountain of stone, it is the compass of the earth, aligned with the cardinal directions to near-perfect latitude. When moonlight falls upon it, its edges gleam like blades of silver, slicing the sky into four equal parts. Every year, millions stand before this monument, feeling the weight of time, in their own smallness, before a living proof that humankind, when moved by faith and will, can transcend even the laws of physics. An archaeologist once said, "Time does not destroy the pyramid, it only reminds us how magnificent humanity once was." And perhaps, the greatest wonder of all is not hidden within the stones themselves, but within the spirit that allowed such a creation to endure to this very day. Yet one question remains: what made it a timeless symbol, worshipped for millennia, and remembered as a message from the dawn of humankind itself? More than 4,000 years ago, those people placed each stone with their bare hands, not merely to build a tomb for their pharaoh, but to send a message that would echo through eternity. If humankind has faith, it can turn the impossible into reality. The question we asked at the beginning, how did they build the pyramid, may finally have its answer. They didn't need machines or technology. All they needed was the power of will and unwavering determination. Today, as we stand in our modern world and gaze back at the Great Pyramid of Giza, we begin to understand, perhaps the greatest achievement isn't found in the stones themselves, but in the spirit of those who dared to dream beyond their own lifetime. They didn't live to enjoy the present, they lived to leave behind something for the future. And through that, they became immortal. Maybe each of us, in our own way, is also building a pyramid, a dream, a project, a legacy for the generations that follow. The question is, will we have their patience, their faith, their courage in a world that's slowly forgetting what eternity truly means? Because in the end, time may erase everything, but it will never erase the human will. If you believe that too, leave a comment below. What is your pyramid in this life? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can remember that sometimes the greatest wonders on earth aren't built from stone, but from faith